relearn myself. You know, I have this driving driving passion of wanting to be a full-time working actor, and now I'm married and planning a family and trying to figure out and doing this all in Chicago, trying to figure out how I was going to make that work and and still keep balance in in life. And it was it was hard.
I think that's kind of the point where we started off. This interview was kind of launched with the idea that what you are going to impart to the audience was how you managed to make that work. And I think we're kind of at a crossroads here where you're going to actually maybe flesh that out a little bit for
Sure,
us. So,
absolutely. And it really boiled down to having a very strong grasp of my priorities, both personal priorities for my dreams, but also the priorities in terms of how they relate to my obligations. And it can be done. It can be done, right? Um, as long as you, I'm going to use the word balance a lot because it really falls on that. There were moments where I had to sacrifice the audition. I couldn't go to the audition because I had the obligation of being a parent, right? Taking care of my daughter or my son or whatever things that they had going on in their life, whether it was a parent teacher conference or some sort of a recital or even just sitting at the dining room table, helping them with their homework. Um, but the flip side to that was, when those auditions came that were really important, really big, had a tremendous amount of opportunity. Well, then there was, the negotiation that came into play and compromise and striking those balances with my wife and the kids and saying, hey, look, is there something that we can do where, I can still be a part of this, but I can still make this audition. And it worked, I guess, for in the simplest sense, it worked. There were a lot of auditions that I missed, but there were also a lot of auditions that I made. And it's an additional struggle on the personal priority side of things because when you do get these auditions, there's no there's no flexibility